Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. My wife's phone accidentally called me while she was having sex with her affair partner, and I heard everything. This is the story of my life, getting cheated on by my wife. I am 42 years old and she is 35. I married when I was 33. The wife and I were married on 9th of July 2012 at Kolkata, India, in an arranged marriage in accordance with Hindu Marriage Act. I came on student visa to Australia in 2005 from India, studied in Australia, and got my citizenship of Australia in 2009. After our wedding, I sponsored her partner visa. She received her partner visa and arrived in Melbourne, Australia on 26th of May 2013. We started cohabitation from 26th of May 2013 at Box Hill, Australia. The wife and I separated on 4th of February 2021. Pre-separation history. In 2013, the wife and I started living in a one-bedroom apartment in Box Hill South. After the wife's arrival in Australia, I took her to the bank and provided her with an add-on card to my credit card. I was working as a technician for Diamond Tech Gaming and also part-time as a security guard at a shopping center, working 12 hours a day. I was actively saving money to build our first home. I had a savings of $20,000 before she arrived in Australia. The wife took responsibility as a housewife. During that time, we visited her friends and my friends. We spent the holiday at Great Ocean Road, 12 Apostles. We frequently dined in restaurants, visited movie theaters, and shopped in and around Melbourne. My work required me to visit pokies venues in the countryside. The wife joined me and traveled to Geelong, Warrnambool, Sale, Traralgon, Warragul, and other locations. After work, we went to eat at fine dining restaurants in those towns. The wife would say she gets bored at home when I was away at work. I enrolled the wife in an aged care course in July 2013 and paid a fee of $2,200. She finished her course in February of 2014. In 2011, I purchased a brand new VW Golf Turbo Diesel, which I use for my work. In 2014, the wife commenced employment as a personal care attendant at Vincent Care in March of 2014. I enrolled the wife in a driving school to learn driving a car, which would make her confident and self-reliant. I purchased a brand new Mazda 3 for $23,000 for the wife even before she learned driving and received her license. In August 2014, we purchased land in Cranbourne North to build our first home. We jointly secured a home loan of $345,000. I saved around $40,000 from my employment. My father provided a loan of $10,000 for a home deposit, which I still owe to my father. In June of 2015, we finished construction of our first home. We moved in on the 4th of June to her new home. I bought furniture, white goods, and televisions for her new home worth around $40,000. I continuously helped with house chores such as cooking, dishwashing, washing, cleaning, buying groceries, fruit and vegetables, and meat. After moving to Cranbourne, the wife gained employment in Berwick. The wife received her driving license in September of 2015. I encouraged the wife to drive to work. Initially, I was dropping the wife off to work in the morning. The wife gained confidence and started driving to work. The wife said I provided her encouragement and confidence to be independent like an Australian woman. I always supported my wife to be independent. The wife had more than 15 friends from work and outside with whom she partied. We visited Hindu festivals and gatherings. We had friends over at our house for housewarming parties. On weekends, we had regular barbecue parties with friends. The wife fell pregnant in October of 2015. I was very happy with the news. My parents visited Australia to our new home in November and supported her during her pregnancy. The wife got her permanent residency in Australia in December of 2015. In 2016, I helped the wife during pregnancy with household chores and cooking. I arranged the baby shower at my place, cooked food, and presented the wife with a new iPhone. The wife went on maternity leave in May of 2016. The son was born on 22nd of July 2016. My parents were in Australia, and I looked after the child during the day. I took a month-long leave from work. At night, we took turns feeding, changing diapers, and comforting the child when he cried. We bought a baby cot, pram, and all the toys after he was born. I helped with bathing the child. The wife commenced her employment in the month of November 2016. In January of 2017, the wife demanded we organize a celebration for the son's rice ceremony, which is an auspicious occasion when a baby is introduced to solid foods. I invited family and friends to my house for the occasion. The child was a very cheerful and happy boy, and my parents and I took care of the baby. My father would regularly feed him and change his diapers to help my wife. The baby used to love my father. He became closer to his grandparents. The wife wanted a large get-together for the son's first birthday, and I organized his first birthday party at China Bar Signature. We invited our common friends and her childhood friends to the occasion. During July of 2017, The wife said she needed a break from daily chores and looking after the baby. I took my wife to Mount Buller for a holiday. The wife said she was missing her parents. I gave the wife a surprise with airline tickets for her and the son to travel to India. The wife visited her parents in India for a duration of 3 months in September of 2017. I gave the wife $4,000 for her shopping and expenses in India. I was working and stayed back in Australia to pay the bills and the mortgage. The wife returned to Australia with my parents at the end of November 2017. In May of 2018, the wife said she wanted a home theater in the house. I spent $25,000 to purchase a Sony 4K projector and speakers to set up a theater in our study room. In August of 2018, we refinanced our home loan. We borrowed the equity to pay our debts. In September of 2018, the wife said if we could get a 4-wheel drive for the family to travel around Australia. I purchased a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado for $65,000. In September of 2018, we decided to go on a holiday for 7 days. We went for a road trip to Sydney, Blue Mountains, and Canberra. My parents joined us on our holiday. In Sydney, we stayed in Marathon Suites for 5 days. Our apartment was on the 28th floor with views to Darling Harbour and Sydney City. The hotel cost me $350 a day. We traveled in and around Sydney. We visited Blue Mountains. In Sydney, we dined in expensive fine dining restaurants. I took her shopping in Sydney Tower Westfield Mall. After Sydney, we drove to Canberra and stayed in a beautiful hotel for 3 days. We visited the War Memorial and Parliament House in Canberra. In October of 2018, the wife asked if I could get an SUV for her. I took a business loan and purchased a Honda CR-V Sport for $35,000. The wife said she was the luckiest woman in the world to have a husband like me. She received her citizenship of Australia in 2019. In March of 2019, I enrolled for a Bachelor of Nursing to advance my career. I wanted to have a high-paying job to provide a comfortable life for my family. At age 39, I again started studying full-time. I was also working full-time in aged care. I attended university during the day and worked night shifts at aged care. In July of 2018, after finishing my exams, I took my wife to Mount Hotham, Falls Creek, Buffalo Mountains, and stayed in a cottage in Bright. I purchased her snow gear worth more than $1,500 before our trip. I bought an expensive LG French door fridge for $4,000 to make the wife happy. In September of 2019, the wife said her sister-in-law was visiting Sydney and she would like to see her. Initially, I was hesitant as I was studying full-time and working and worried about the expenses. To make the wife happy, I agreed to make the trip to Sydney. We drove to Sydney and stayed in Marathon Suites, Parramatta for 3 days. I organized an expensive dinner at a meat and wine company for my sister-in-law and her family. The wife was very happy with my gesture. We visited Botany Bay and Indian restaurants in Harris Park. On the day of our return from Sydney, I planned a surprise visit to Gold Coast, Queensland for the wife as she had never traveled to Queensland. We drove to the Gold Coast from Sydney via Pacific Highway. We stayed at Surfers Paradise. During our trip, we visited Brisbane, Byron Bay, and Noosa. On our return journey to Melbourne, we took Neville Highway and stayed at one night at Dubbo. It was an expensive trip which cost us around $5,000. We returned from our holiday and I got back to university and work. In February of 2020, we visited Bali, Indonesia for 8 days and stayed in a 5-star hotel at Ayodhya Restaurant Bali, Nusa Dua. My parents also joined us from India as they were missing their grandson. In Bali, we visited Kuta, beautiful temples, and seafood fine dining restaurants. The wife went shopping every day in Bali. The wife said she wanted to visit a nightclub. I took her to Potato Head Beach Club in Seminyak, Bali. The Bali trip cost me around $7,000. After coming back from Bali, I resumed university. In March of 2020, I downgraded my car to a Toyota Corolla to save on fuel expenses. I had regular unpaid placements for my university course. The wife was unhappy to sell the Toyota Land Cruiser. I explained to her after finishing my degree, I can again purchase a 4-wheel drive for our family. To make the wife happy, in May 2020, I took a business loan and bought a Toyota RAV4 Edge for $47,800. The wife said she would like to keep the Toyota RAV4 for her, which I agreed to let her keep. In May of 2020, after the first pandemic lockdown, I took her to Bright and Mount Hotham for 2 days. During the pandemic lockdown, our employment was not affected as both of us worked in aged care. In November of 2020, after finishing my second year in nursing, I planned a 4-day trip to Lake Entrance. We stayed in a Big Four resort. We visited Bairnsdale during our visit to the lake entrance. After the lockdown finished in November, I started working regular night shifts at Regis and Villa Maria Catholic Homes at Wantirna. In July of 2021, we visited Lorne and Apollo Bay for a day trip. In January, I was regularly working 4 to 5 night shifts a week. I was doing double shifts to save money as I had to go to hospital placement in February for a period of 3 weeks. D-Day. On the 1st of February 2021, I commenced my placement. On the 3rd of February, I started my placement at 7 a.m. and finished at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. After coming home, I picked up a night shift. The next day, I was supposed to start placement at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. On the 3rd of February, I commenced my shift at 10:15 p.m. At 1:30 a.m., I received a call on WhatsApp from my wife's phone. I picked up the phone and said hello. The wife did not know the phone had dialed and connected as it was a pocket dial. I overheard a conversation between the wife and an unknown man. The conversation was sexual in nature. They had indulged in sexual intercourse and were discussing it. I could hear the wife making fun of me. At 1:47 a.m., she understood the phone line was on and had connected to my phone. She immediately disconnected the phone and called me back. She started pacifying and explaining she was having a harmless telephone call with a friend. I reached home at 5:30 a.m. and confronted her. She acknowledged that she was having an extramarital affair from June 2019 with a male work colleague. The man with whom she was having an illicit relationship was married with 2 kids. The wife confessed they would regularly indulge in sexual intercourse at our house, in our matrimonial bed. I was very sad and disheartened by her actions. I went through her phone bills and noticed she was regularly speaking to this person during the day and at nights when I was away at work. From the wife's phone bills, I saw she was talking to this man during our vacations. I saw her phone records and call times during our trip to Sydney and the Gold Coast in September of 2019. I even checked my phone records and observed that during our holiday at Bali, February 2020, she used my roaming phone to call this man without my knowledge. I had installed Arlo cameras in the front of my house in 2019. I called Arlo support to inquire about footage from the camera about this person regularly coming to my house without my knowledge. The lady from Arlo support said someone was turning the cameras off during the night and there was no footage available as the cameras were offline. I was so shocked by the wife's deceitful actions. I had a voice-activated Amazon Alexa Echo Dot in the bedroom to control lights and alarms. The Amazon Alexa records small voice snippets. I went through the recordings and could hear sounds of sexual intercourse and talk with this person she was having an affair with. To confirm, I matched the date and time of the recordings. The voice recording was during the time I was away working at night shifts. She confessed that he would come at 11 p.m. after I went to work and leave at around 3 a.m. in the morning. After hearing her debauchery, I slipped into depression. I asked the wife, why did she not leave me if she wasn't happy in the marriage? She blankly replied, I even love you and thought I would never find out. I slapped her and she went to the police and complained about domestic violence. I was arrested by the police on 4th of February 2021 at 3:30 p.m. The police pressed assault charges and excluded me from my house. The wife got an intervention order against me and I became homeless. Since the incident, I have been renting a room with roommates. Post-separation, I was on antidepressant medication. I was seeing a psychologist for managing my mental health. I took a year off from my nursing studies as I could not continue my education. The wife used to make phone contact multiple times a day to apologize and reconcile. It made me believe the contacts we were having outside the court intervention order was safe. She manipulated me and controlled me to have contacts with her and opened the door of the house when I went to see my son on the 10th of March of 2021. At the end, the wife had consensual sex with me and reported all our contacts to the police. The wife has manipulated me, controlled me, used and abused me, deceived me. I thought she was genuinely trying to reconcile with me. For this reason, I entertained her contact. I was remanded in prison for 36 days and pleaded guilty to charges. On the 16th of April 2021, I was released without conviction and placed on community correction order for a period of 2 years. I am going through this rehabilitation programs like Men's Behavior Change Program and Anger Management. I have gone to a lawyer and have a property settlement hearing on 17th of November 2021. Time for some reactions. No Carpenter 8359 says, remain no contact with her and retain a lawyer. Do what the lawyer tells you to do. You have to get evil with her, legally of course. She has shown herself to be an evil, conniving individual. Don't believe anything she says. Only communicate through a lawyer. ETA breaks this up into paragraphs. Do not meet her or talk to her except through a lawyer. Coach EJK says, she is, in my opinion, pure evil. I pray you have left the wife of her affair partner known of his deceit. Does Australia allow a lawsuit against the affair partner for alienation of affection? If so, pursue it. Also, any money due for child support should be paid to an intermediary, not to your ex. You have a right to be vindictive. Sell everything you own and waste the money on frivolous things so she can't access it. Make sure everyone in her family and yours know of her deceptions. Aaron Noor says, all red flags in your story. You've been spoiling her from the get-go, in a nice way. She doesn't deserve you, man. Why don't you start afresh in another country? Moving on to the next story. My girlfriend, 25, sent suggestive messages to another guy. Hi everyone. I came here after a recommendation from the relationship advice subreddit. I've, 26 male, got a story to share and would like to know what you think about it and if you have any suggestions for me. This Wednesday, I was out in a bar with my girlfriend, 25, of 2 years, and 2 of her friends. I arrived a bit later as I had to work longer and she was noticeably drunk when I arrived. As the night went on, I noticed she was constantly checking her phone and texting someone. For context, I don't usually care who she texts, but this night something was off. There was a somewhat weird moment when my girlfriend's friend asked the group what the best thing in our life is currently. I looked at my girlfriend and told her that it was her, and what I got back was a slightly upset and sad look. Sometime later, we went home and had another drink with her friends at our place before they left. The first thing she did when her friends left was drag me into the bedroom and we had sex. I was slightly perplexed because she usually is much more subtle. Afterwards, she fell asleep pretty quickly. The night after, we had to catch an early train to go on a weekend trip, so I wanted to check if we both had our alarms set. What I saw when I took her phone was a message from another guy basically saying that she enjoyed the night back then. I never do this, but this message kind of freaked me out, so I went through their messages. As it turns out from history, she didn't cheat on me, but it looks like she played with the idea. They've been talking for a week or so, and apparently they hooked up about 8 years ago, which is what the text I saw was referring to. In their text, they talked about meeting up to talk initially, which escalated into basically talking about secretly meeting up. He has a girlfriend as well, with obvious suggestions about secretly hooking up. She also mentioned to him that I have to leave for 3 weeks for work soon, which really upset me. I confronted her about it the next day. She said it didn't mean anything and she will block the guy and not contact him again. I asked her what was wrong and if she doesn't want to be with me anymore. She said that she's felt unhappy the last few weeks and felt the relationship has grown a bit stale and texting that guy felt exciting. She told me she would never cheat on me and she just enjoyed the attention. I do believe that she wouldn't cheat on me, but since I'm abroad for work several times a year, trust is really important, and I feel the trust is damaged. We had a long conversation the next day and both committed to staying together and work on a relationship. She cried in my arms and I asked her if she wants to end it, but she said she still loves me and she felt like I didn't give her enough attention anymore. She does have a point in that I took her for granted, which is still no justification. I am madly in love with her and I do trust that she wouldn't cheat on me, at least my conscious mind does, but I keep getting thoughts in my mind about her cheating on me or still texting him, and I just can't get the idea out of my head that she thought about that guy while we had sex the other night. I want to know if there's a way back from something like this because I really don't want to lose her, or if this is likely the first step in a lot of painful events. It drives me insane. I want this to work, but I'm worried that I can't fully trust her again. Do you have any suggestions on what to do? I don't want to break up with her, but I also don't want to drag out a failing relationship unnecessarily. Thanks a lot. Hey, community, you wanted some advice? Let him have it. Entertainment Rich 196, start us off. Hey man, my ex cheated on me last month and said the same BS. Look at it this way. If you two ever get married, there will be a lot bigger problems and bumps than just a few weeks of not giving her enough attention. If she can't even deal with inattention properly, communication, how do you expect her to stay loyal to you when you have much bigger challenges in your marriage down the road? Better to leave her now than having to pay her alimony and child support down the line. There are many girls out there who wouldn't do this no matter how bad the relationship gets. Big Ed Cactus Head has another thought. At the first sign of the relationship going stale, does she tell you to try to fix things? No. She instead cheats on you emotionally and plans to make it physical. She has shown you she will cheat. Why don't you believe her? My New Adventures has the next comment. You really don't think she would cheat on you? She's been unhappy the last couple weeks, and the first thing she does is start chatting up an old F-buddy. Dude, you need to spend a few days going through the posts on this sub. She's a classic cheater, right down to crying in your arms and that crap. Listen, she failed the girlfriend test. Get the F rid of her. If you don't, I'll bet you anything you're right back here within 2 years bemoaning how you caught her cheating and you are just so crushed. Last but not least, from Self-Inflicted. In Hell, 3 months old, RA27 sister subs. She will definitely cheat on you. She's already emotionally cheating and making plans to cheat physically when you're out of the way. You should end this relationship before it gets any more serious. Now it's easy. No kids, not married, just walk away. Don't be naive.